Exploit, silly.
Here we are where we last left off, hopelessly lost in the nether. Now, rumor has it that this one wide tunnel is the tunnel that leads to the Guardian Farm and Iron Farm. Let's hope that's the case. Oh, wait, this looks familiar. This is it, in fact. This is the portal that takes us back to the Iron Farm and Guardian Farms. What in the...
Birch.
Who in the...
Birch.
Just trying to spruce the place up for you. What's in the chest? Oh, well, that explains where all the birch went. What kind of sick son of a...
Birch.
Would replace birch with spruce? This will not stand. This absolutely will not stand. I don't know who did this yet, but I will find out. I think I hear a spider. There he is, right there. Luckily, I'm so adept at combat skills. At least my horses are safe, and they at least have birch to stand on. Speak of the person who's probably guilty. There he is now. We'll have time for retribution later, but let's get to work on this iron farm. Now, this is the 1.15, 1.16 design, and however, I'm going to modify it slightly. We're working on the villager pods. Between episode 1 and 2, I built the actual structure of the iron farms. And I chose to only place 10 villagers. I did that for a couple of reasons. One, because this is a multiplayer server, and I don't want to impact the mob cap too much. And two, I did it because there really isn't a tremendous amount of difference between 10 villagers and 20 villagers, especially not in 1.14.3. And if it becomes an issue, I can always add more villagers later. But the iron farm combined with the Guardian Farm would be a huge impact. Now, here we are at the villager breeder. If there are any children watching, please avert your eyes, because there's about to be some villager on villager action. If you want to see the video of this with the cobblestone removed, please subscribe to my fans only page. Now, this is a very simple breeder. Uses 2 villagers at the top, 1 villager at the bottom, in 2 separate villages, 3 beds at the top so that I don't spawn cats. Because if I had a 4th bed, I would instantly start spawning cats. So 3 beds at the top, 1 bed, 1 villager at the bottom. It's that simple. Now, I could wrap up this clip right now. But as I know that most of you are at home bored on lockdown, I know that you could use a little spicy villager on villager action. So just sit back and enjoy the music. Now, you always want to breed a few more villagers than you need, because just like in real life, some of them grow up to be nitwits, and you don't want to use nitwits in your iron farm. And also, even when you do everything right, unexpected circumstances happen. You may think, oh, I've got these 2 villagers, they're so safe, I'll just place down these boats, I've got them transported to my island, everything is going great. And you did everything right. Villagers are hard to move around. Things happen. Right here, for instance, this is a lag death. I'm chopping this dude, nothing is happening. See, you can do everything right and it still goes to crap. Now, when you move villagers and you get ready to set up your iron farm, you need to have a process. And you need to think out the process of how you're going to move your villagers. Now I'm going to dig out that little canal and I'm going to move my villagers in a boat. And I'm going to bring the boat in. I'm going to drain the water out of there. I'm going to break the boat, have them jump into another boat, and then I'm going to move them into the iron farm. You can use rails, you can use any way you want to move them. However, this is my preferred method, and I want to show it off a little bit because I often get asked, how do I move villagers? Well, this is how. Now, I'm going to make it look easy, but learning these processes takes time, and it takes trial and error. And then I'll build a wall here, break the boat, and the easiest way to move villagers is a bucket of water. It really is. If you use rails, know that villagers can move minecarts on their own. And they can fight against water a little bit, and they will, but ultimately they give up and the water pushes them where you want them to go. Now this is the villager pod that we built earlier. I didn't get the water down in time. See? Now he's going to catch on this ledge right here, but I'll just jump in and push him through it. And just place the water every few blocks until he gets pushed into his cell, and then close him in. And it's really that easy. People often have trouble moving villagers, but if you think out the process ahead of time and where you place your breeder, you don't need giant breeders. I know I've built some and I've shown some off, but that's just because people keep asking for them. You don't really need them. Now, I also built an upper iron farm also, and we aren't going to place the beds yet until we get the villagers in place. And this is me building the bubble column to transport the villagers. And obviously it's sped up, so but you need to build a bubble column to transport your villagers. And I'm going to follow the water down, and then it'll become a bubble column and kick me out. Now I've moved another villager. Obviously there was a quick edit there. You didn't see all the steps between that, but essentially you just push the villager in, and the bubble column will take him. See that? He's gone. You follow him up, and you do the same thing we did below. Use a water bucket to push him into his cell, and you lock him in his cell. And that way you have both the upper and the lower villagers where you want them before you place the bed. Because there are no villages yet. You need a bed to have a village. This way I get both of my sets of villagers in place, the upper and the lower, before I establish either village. This way all the villagers can't join one village because there is no village yet. So I really wanted to show that when I built an iron farm on top of each other. And of course, sometimes you'll need more villagers because sometimes you get a disproportionate amount of nitwits. But we don't have time for a long session this time, so we'll just have a real quickie. Like I said, everybody's on lockdown, so everybody could use a little quickie from time to time. Let me show you this trick with the boats real quick. Throw a boat down. And you'll do the boat trick a few times, and it actually does something cool at the bottom. If you don't do the boat trick, you have to get your own boat and then go around collecting the villagers. But if you do it like this, you'll notice something. Oh, it's a little baby villager pyramid. Isn't that funny? Here we are back at the lower village. Now, we have all of our villagers in place, and I've actually placed the beds, but I didn't show placing the beds because it's quite dark and you wouldn't have been able to see it and it wouldn't have showed up on the video. But you can see them right there above us. 21 beds because we're in 1.14.3, so it requires 21 beds. Like I said, 21 beds for 1.14.3, and in the next update, 1.15, 1.16, which will actually be the 1.16 update because the devs, for whatever reason, decided to skip 1.15. It will require only 20 beds. So 1.14, 21 beds, 1.16, 20 beds. And of course, 10 is still the minimum number of villagers, which is what we chose here. I'm having a little trouble. I wish I had waited to do the water until after I'd placed all the signs. Now, in my tutorial world, I did in fact do that, but it's very difficult to maneuver and place signs while the water's pushing you. So, just a little tip from me to you, wait till you have all your signs in place and all your lava and everything else before you let the water. And of course, we're underwater actually. So I didn't have to place any water buckets. I just broke the sides of the glass there. And of course, underneath this, we have a hopper and a hopper minecart and all the regular things you would expect to see for the collection system on this farm. Like I said right here, I'm really struggling. The water's pushed me all over the place. And I don't have the great... We've had kind of a cold snap here where I live, and I don't have the greatest dexterity right now with my fingers, so I'm having difficult placing signs. Of course, it's staggered 4, 3, 2, 1 in a diamond pattern like we always do. Here we are. We finished the lower lava blade. And I need to clear out this dirt right here that we placed here as a placeholder, so that it'll be open to the bottom. And of course we've started spawning cats like crazy. Oh, I hit the golem. Oh, that's a problem. We have to stay out of his hit range. Really should have brought a sword or a bow or something. Like I said, we're spawning in golems already. We have, of course, 21 beds and 10 villagers, so at any point in time we can spawn a golem, but we need to finish this top lava blade. And of course, it matches the bottom one exactly, only it's one less sign in each direction. And once again, if you wait to place the water down until you have the signs in place, you'll be much better off. Oh, now we got to kill this golem again because this one's in the way. We need to place our signs there. Stay out of its hit range. Oh. Okay, we're back to try again. We'll take this villager, this iron golem on again. Round 2, I guess. Alright. I can't believe I died to the iron golem. That's so embarrassing. I guess I'll leave that in. Since Next put it on Discord about 500 times. I guess I better leave that in. And just like that, our iron farm is operational. You see that it's killing the golems automatically. They just spawn in every so often, about every 6 minutes or so on this version. Now, we can either set up trades for the villagers or not. I'm going to because we need the emeralds. But at 1.14.3, they don't actually require workstations. So I'm going to place water so that they don't disconnect. Now, if you don't place workstations at 1.14.3, you actually do still need to do the water. So I'm going to place the workstations for each villager, and I'm going to place water at their feet. The water keeps the villager from aggroing and disconnecting from their beds. So this is a crucial step whether you do workstations or not. Now, we have one of the iron farms completed. And the second, third, and fourth iron farm hopefully will be finished in episode 3 and 4.